And welcome back to Cadillac High School. Jay Simon alongside Dan Gussert as the Cadillac Vikings put the finishing touches on a 25-11, 25-3, 25-4 victory over the Alpena Wildcats. And you asked me off camera, Dan, what you say to a team. What do you say to your team after a loss like that? You've been a coach as well in other sports. The difficulty with the talent level there, and we talked about the Wildcats, they've got a lot of talent. They're very young and inexperienced, whereas the Vikings really are at their peak of experience, a lot of seniors in very key positions. What do you take away from a contest like this, or do you just not talk about it anymore?
I think you do talk about it. I think one of the things you do, you got a long ride home, is you quickly say, this night's forgotten. Just forget score. Let's look at some of the things we did well. Let's look at some of the things we didn't do so well, and how do we improve? What do we do tomorrow when we get into the gym that's going to make us better, individual volleyball players and as a team? Because we got a lot more volleyball this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't see frustration from a Alpena team that clearly struggled tonight. Certainly, at times you might see a little bit, but overall they hung in there. Some of their best play was in the last 2 to 3 points of that last set, so there wasn't quit. I think they probably realized, in the long run, this is the way some of our matches are going to go this year, and if we're going to get better, then we need to work on staying positive and keep working hard.
And they started the match really well. It was actually 10-10 in the opening set before the Vikings ran off a 15-1 run to close out set one. But early on, and I joked that I felt like I might have jinxed them, but I think to a certain extent, once the Vikings started to roll, things started to break down a little bit for the Wildcats. But they passed really, really, really well. And any volleyball coach will tell you, you cannot do anything else if you can't pass well.
Right.
And they were doing a really good job of that early on. We also saw some really good moments there toward the end of the match as well. And it's the kind of thing that I think, as you said, those are the little things that maybe Coach Stacey McEwen talks about with her kids to say, look, here's the things we did well. I'm sure they've got this game on tape. All coaches tape all these games all the time. And they'll focus on those moments.
Absolutely.
And that's what they'll discuss. For the Vikings, it might be the other way, right? I don't know about you, but as a coach, I always criticized my team's play more when we won.
Yep.
And perhaps there's no better time to pick them apart than when they beat a team like this.
To get better, you have to improve. And, we talked at one point in the broadcast here tonight that Cadillac, as far as improving compared to Alpena, probably will improve less as the season goes on, but you still need to improve. You've got to look at the things you did wrong out there tonight, and you've got to discuss them as a coach and analyze them and work to get better. Also, starting in practice, Vikings have 2 tough road matches next week.
Yep. TC Central on Monday.
You can't celebrate that long either.
No, you can't. They got Central on Monday on the road. They've got TC West on Wednesday on the road. And those two teams, no doubt, will be tough. West, they've already beaten here at home. Contest you saw here on 26 Sports and CCTV. But playing on your home court is a whole different thing, a whole different animal. Cadillac Crazies won't be there, at least not in force.
Right.
And it will be different for them without question. But tonight, really, Vikings just couldn't do anything wrong. Kylie Christensen.
Just strong game in the middle.
Yep, Gabby Kapazinski on the outside. Brooke Kahani, the freshman, on the outside. They just really did a nice job. And we were mentioning names up and down the row. Liz Piles with some kills tonight. Michaela Johns came out and produced. Naomi Bonesier, we know, mentioning once or twice earlier in the match, too. It was almost where the Vikings had difficulty in those last 2 games subbing anybody in because they didn't rotate.
Right.
There just weren't that many side outs.
Right. Allie Finch, we mentioned in the third set that she hadn't served in the second set. She didn't need to.
Yep.
She had just a strong performance, moving the ball around, setting up her teammates. You can tell why she's a candidate for Miss Volleyball.
Yeah, meanwhile, for the Wildcats, we talked about how they were young. Allison Precord's just a sophomore at setter there. Emma Gentry, a freshman outside hitter. And Katie Mack, the senior, stand out in the middle at middle hitter is, it's a tough job as a senior to to kind of bring along your underclassmen teammates, knowing that everybody's kind of talking about, oh, there's a lot of talent and they're going to be better in the future. Hey, I'm a senior. This is it for me.
Right.
But it's also a credit to her how hard she continues to play with those younger players.
You hit that right on the head. A lot of character shown by the Alpena seniors. Coach McEwen mentioned that. Her senior leaders are very strong and strong in personality. And that's important. That's important. Teams, programs, they go through years where it's a struggle. And hats off to Alpena and their senior leadership. You can see that out there. And certainly with the Vikings. They're led by a strong group of seniors, and they have very high expectations. And if I know Coach Bryan and those senior girls, they're going to hit the floor hard tomorrow to get ready.
Yep. We talked about the Wildcats putting this behind us. The Vikings will put this behind them quickly as well.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Hey, we want to make sure that we thank our sponsors once again for their support of 26 Sports and CCTV. Could not do it without them. And if you get an opportunity to stop in at any of those businesses and thank them for their support, we'd appreciate you doing that. They include Ebel's General Store, the Bear Den Grill, LC Materials and the Concrete Store, Vickery Financial, Crystal Flash, Bowman and Rogers, Pizza Plus, Cadillac Tire, High Point, Douglas, Bigelow Supply, Pack Mail, and Cadillac Casting. I think that's going to do it for us. Dan, any last thoughts here?
No, it was an enjoyable night here. Safe travels to the Alpena team as they head back. Absolutely. Great job by Cadillac coming away with the victory, and certainly just a real nice representative of what high school sports are and sportsmanship shown by both teams out there tonight and both coaching staffs.
Absolutely. 25-11, 25-3, 25-4, your final. Cadillac Vikings defeat the Alpena Wildcats in girls Big North volleyball action. We want to thank our camera crew, Rain Johnson-Hill, Kevin DeLuca, Jacob Fulis, Kaylee Buck in the truck, Wyatt Van Dynen, supervisor for the cameras, and of course, Dakota Commander Pike, our director in the truck. Couldn't do this without them. Hardest working crew in the business. For Dan Gussert, I'm Jay Simon. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next time. Friday night, we've got football action coming, homecoming here in Cadillac. Make sure you tune in for that. Have a good one.